Hey everyone, it is Sam here and we are making spaghetti. So when I was growing up, we had spaghetti at least once a week and it was my favorite. And then I got older and I got scared of carbs. Sound familiar? And we didn't have spaghetti anymore. Oh no, what were we supposed to do? And then you got on Pinterest and you were like, oh, there's this thing called spaghetti squash. Wait, what's a spaghetti squash? Well, we're going to talk about it today, and I'm going to give you some awesome tips for not hacking off your finger or 5 fingers while you're trying to get into this beautiful squash. So if you don't know me, my name is Samantha Rowland. I am the founder of Bites of Wellness. I am bringing you today just some easy hacks to be able to make your life a little bit simpler while continuing your journey of wellness. So I'm a nutrition coach, I'm a personal trainer, I'm also a faster way to fat loss coach, and it is my goal in life to make your life easier. So we are talking spaghetti squash. This little squasharoo will give you bountiful amounts of spaghetti-like strands that are this is pretty neutral, so it acts just like spaghetti. It doesn't have much of a taste, so it will take on whatever taste you love. But y'all, let me be honest with you right now. First time I tried spaghetti squash, I almost cut my finger off, and I'm pretty sure I'm not alone with that. So I want to show you a couple ways that I have learned to make spaghetti squash pretty quickly. So this is done in under 15 minutes, which sounds like a lot, but if you've ever cooked spaghetti squash, it's actually not that bad, and you will not feel like you're going to cut off your finger. So the first thing I do is I treat this squash like a potato, and I make slits in it just like you would a potato in the microwave, so that we can help soften the skin, because this skin, y'all, trying to get through this is pretty dangerous, even with a pretty sharp knife. So all I want you to do is make 2 small little slits in your spaghetti squash, okay? You don't have to go down too far. And we're gonna throw this in the microwave for 3 to 4 minutes, depending on how big your squash is and how old it was. So I'm gonna throw this, I'm going to go 4 minutes because I'm going to show you what happens. So once that comes out, I will show you the best way to cut it in half. So you'll have a full squash like this. You're going to work on cutting it in half, which I will show you in a second. I want to make this video as fast as we can so I don't take a lot of your time. So then you're going to microwave this in a bowl. So in a bowl that's big enough. Once it's cut in half, microwave it for about 10 to 11 minutes. The way you'll know it's done is I like to just push on it. And if there's not a ton of resistance, then you'll know it's done. You can always microwave this more if you need to. So now you have carnage, pretty much is what it looks like. So what you want to do is take a spoon, and in the center here you have, just like any other squash, you've got a ton of seeds. So I just kind of make this boat-like, and I just get rid of the middle part, okay? So now you've got the spaghetti squash. I'm going to do that with both of them, and then we'll get rid of the seeds. So again, a good tip, y'all, this will be hot coming right out of the microwave. So I made this like 15 minutes ago. I was just kind of hanging out around the house doing stuff. I wanted to make sure I could handle it for you guys. If you end up needing this right away, use an oven mitt or something like that to hold these guys, because they are going to be really hot. So I'm going to get rid of this. We have trash right here. All right. So now you've got an empty, got your squash, you got a fork. All you want to do, so you'll see this comes across very, very easily. Just scrape it out, scrape it out, scrape it out. And you guys will see that this is just like strands of spaghetti. That's why it's called spaghetti squash. Super easy to use. I like to just try to keep the strands together. You'll know right away if this isn't done enough because it'll start to stick. And then I just get to scrape in. If you get it out and it's in chunks like this, it'll easily just kind of, if I have more than one hand, kind of mash up easy. That's why I try to keep it in the little ribbons right here. Now there's some hacks on Pinterest that say if you cut this into rings instead of in half like a boat, that you'll get better spaghetti strands. And while I have tried that, it's just not worth it because it is so hard to cut into this. I don't mind that they don't look like perfect strands of spaghetti. If your kids are super picky and they're not going to eat anything that doesn't look exactly like spaghetti, then you might want to try that hack instead, which again is to just cut it into rounds instead of cutting it into this boat-like texture. You can also do just what I'm doing here. Keep the boat intact, mix this up and with whatever seasonings you want. Maybe it's marinara or something like that. And then put it in the oven with some, I like some dairy-free cheese. The Kite Hill dairy-free cream cheese would be so good mixed in this to make it more of like a casserole almost. So again, you just want to kind of get as much as you can out. You'll have, now you have a base to treat just like spaghetti. So you guys, this is packed full of nutrients. It's super dense. It's full of fiber. It actually fills you up. And what I really love about it is that because it yields so much, you feel like you're eating a ton of food and you really, really get like satiated with this, versus if you had this much pasta, you would be in a like carb coma pretty much. Now, if you are trying to slowly wean into a more healthy lifestyle, a great hack would be to instead use half spaghetti squash and half gluten-free pasta or something like that. So if you're trying to get your kids on board or something like that, you can use this. I love that this has leftovers. I use it in things like frittatas, in casseroles, just in my breakfast things. So I will show you guys. This is the end product. You can dress this however you want. One of my favorite ways is to use the Wild Tree roasted garlic grapeseed oil. You guys see me talk about this all the time. It's because I love it. I have a giant container of this that I just keep refilling. So you guys only see this little thing, like it's ridiculously big, okay? So roasted garlic grapeseed oil with a tomato and your favorite protein, mix that up. It's so good. If you are trying the dairy-free lifestyle, but you love the idea of buttery noodles, you can use ghee on your noodles and just top it with like some thyme or just some chiffonade basil, something like that. I also always add a little bit of garlic powder because I'm simple like that. Let me get this out of the microwave. All right. A little bit hot, but not terrible, okay? So you guys will see when this cooks up that a little bit of stuff comes out the top. It's fine. So again, I told you guys, this was really tough to cut through in the beginning. So what you want to do is always cut away from you. So your fingers are one side, you're going to cut the other way. So see how easy that is now to kind of cut into? This was in the microwave for 4 minutes. So I'm just going to cut into it very easily. I'm going to turn it around. So again, I'm cutting away from my body and I'm going to just cut into it a little bit more. You can remove your knife, go down a little bit further, cut down, and then you want to turn it around. Again, take your knife out, find the cut, and you just want to, ooh, it's getting a little hot on this side. Cut away from your body, and then, so you're going to get stuck to a point where you have this, where it was on the vine, which is fine. Again, just cut away from your body. And then here's the trick that I do. Once it's to this point, I just turn it so that it sits on the, and I just pull it apart. So right now you can see when it starts to cook, it gets like this, like it's been cooking. Most of this really needs to cook still. So at this point, I would put it in a glass bowl and I wouldn't mess with the seeds or anything like that. Put it in a glass bowl kind of together so it can steam itself for 8 to 12 minutes. I would start at about 10 minutes. You really can't overcook it. Just depending on the size, it may only need 8 minutes. And then let it sit in there for at least 5 minutes just because it's gonna be way too hot to touch. And then after that, you can use it however you want. I'm gonna make a giant bowl of spaghetti though. Do we have any questions? No questions? I hope this was a helpful tip. You guys, I really want to try to bring you as many helpful tips as you want. So if there's something you want to know about, leave it in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to talk about it. If this was helpful or you know somebody that's just learning to cook or just learning to cook healthy, I would love if you would share this video with your friends. I hope you guys have a great night. If you make this, tag me on Instagram, Bites of Wellness. Have a good night, guys.